So we have a tweet from Matt Walsh about the New Hampshire shooter and the ABC 10 shooter. So he's like, this is 3 politically motivated shootings by people that are left-wing in the past week and a half. And that's the thing. The problem about this is the right is obviously very quick to, call out what's happening. These are politically motivated. The left refuses to denounce any political violence, especially when they're the ones spewing it onto our side 24/7. But what's crazy is this is coming from one side of the aisle. And you would think if you actually care, the other side would be willing to step up and talk about it. The issue is they're not. They're very quick to immediately blame it. Oh, it's a right wing. It's an extremist. When, this is the third time? The third time in a month? So the gunman who attacked at this country club was shouting, "Free Palestine." Okay, well, we know that's probably, I know, there's some of them on the right too. That's definitely going to be a leftist. And then also, I'm starting to notice the extremism when it comes to the shootings and all these things. You have someone who's on the left, then they also tend to be, some sort of trans, mentally ill, whatever. And then that also seems to loop right back into the pro-Palestine movement as well. And I'm glad one of my girlfriends on social media is starting to notice this. She's like, all these people seem to fit into the pro-Palestine thing. And I'm like, yeah, but that's because it's not like they're really pro-Palestine. They're just they want to have outrage. They want to feel a part of something. They've lived lives that unfortunately up until this point are quite meaningless. And so they have to be a part of something. It has to be a movement. They have to be upset about something, which is crazy because look, I'm happy to see on TikTok, at least kids are finally being like, we're sick of the pro-Palestine thing. Shut up. What is this doing? How are you by walking in and shooting people in a country club, by holding up traffic, by ruining people's weddings, by protesting the streets, how are you guys helping people over there? And also, I need you guys to understand the most simple thing. They hate you. They hate all of us. They really hate America. They hate you. To support people that hate you, that would kill you if you were over there, that want you dead, that shout death to America, is just extremely low IQ. At least just to understand that aspect of it. Is suffering and, children dying very sad? Yeah. But they're doing it at the hands of a very corrupt government that doesn't want to have any resolutions, that is, let's add, still holding hostages, okay? And I'm just like, come on. They hate you guys. Stop doing this. Find another thing. There'll be another flag next month. If it's not trans rights or Ukraine or whatever it is, there'll be something else. But we got to cut the shit with the pro-Palestine stuff. It's really driving me nuts. And let's be real. Political violence is very real. And it's coming from one side of the spectrum. And I will say the one thing the left has consistent is they're consistently hypocritical. If there was all these assassinations and attempts and all these things on the other side, they would be losing their minds. But no, the violence is happening on one side. And then they're also quick to blame us. So, yeah. And then the leftist who shot up a local ABC station over the suspension, Jimmy Kimmel, is released on bail. How does that make any sense? So this is clearly a very mentally ill. And this person's, probably been watching a little too much mainstream media. So they've now been radicalized, just like the shooter was radicalized. And all these people are becoming so radicalized. I don't know, whatever happened to, having a hobby? I'm like, all these young people that are becoming so radicalized. I'm like, what are they just all the shooters, everyone, they're just watching mainstream media, news all day. And I'm like, who's watching the news? I'm on the news and I literally don't watch it. That's the craziest part about this. I'm like, my dad does because he's in his 80s. I'm like, old people watch the news. Who are these young people that are on Discord all day? And then apparently in their free time, they're watching furry porn, like the Charlie Kirk shooter. And then I'm sorry, whatever happened to can you guys go race cars? Dangerous. Go do drugs. You would actually be more normal if you were partying, drinking, doing drugs, and having sex with drunk fat girls at parties. At this point, I'm like, God, the country is so f***ed up and godless that I'm like, that's a better That is a better solution than like watching CNN all day, sitting on Discord, having sex with your trans furry boyfriend, and then shooting up an ABC station. That's literally a better outcome. I don't know where we go from here. It's very bad. So yeah, so he's out. I don't how are these people out on bail? Is that not like a extreme crime? I don't understand. But like, was he like declared a liberal, so he was out on bail? Is that okay? The shooter was advocating for gun control. Tweets are coming out, as they tend to do. The left does that as well. The left is the first one to be like, oh, we care about his gun control. We don't want innocent people to die. And then the second someone gets shot they don't like, they are literally cheering, like the Luigi Mangione, all of his fans, and I'm like the Charlie Kirk assassination. I'm like, it's funny you can't be like, I want gun control, but when they shoot people I don't like, I'm actually very supportive of guns. You don't get to hold the two positions at the same time. It's the way we talk about, like, that's the issues with liberals. They hold two things at the same time that don't make sense together. It's the same way I talk about, like, do I want us to have public transportation? Yes, I think cities need public transportation, like New York. But you can't have public transportation when you don't believe in prosecuting crime. So girls are getting like sucker punched in the face and stabbed on trains. Like, you can't have those two coexisting ideas. And then you're like, oh, but I also believe in like not prosecuting crime and then pulling, all these illegals in and immigrants, and you can just sleep here, you can shit there. You can't, it doesn't work together, okay? We're starting to see that nothing's working. Nothing's really working anymore. A suspect is being charged with firing shots at an ABC affiliate. He's a gun control supporter. And incredibly, they let him out on bail. So these are tweets talking about it. That's what, the caption being like, California cares about gun violence so much you can shoot at a news station, be out on the street on the same day. That is insane. If you're actively talking and promoting gun control, which I just don't want guns in mentally ill people's hands. That's really, I think, what Republicans are talking about. It is insane to be like, we care so much about gun violence. We want to stop it at all costs. This guy's clearly a mentally ill person who cannot control himself, went up and shot a news station, but let's let him out. And I'm like, oh my God, what are the statistics behind, like, of course he's going to go do this again. This time, an innocent person's going to be killed. That's what I don't understand about crime in this country. Like, every single person that you see that does something horrific, they're like, oh, here's 17 mugshots of him. He's been released 45 times. And I'm like, so you guys didn't learn after the second time? I'm like, I don't even know if I forgive you after you get one shot. You definitely wouldn't be getting two in my book. I mean, I think I should run the prisons here because none of this would be happening. But I'm just like, yeah, let him out. I'm sure he's not going to go do the same thing. Like, he's already proven to you he is a danger to himself. He is a danger to other people's. And also the scariest part, and this is with the mentally ill adults we have running around this country, if you cannot control your emotions, that is a very, very dangerous sign. And I also don't even understand the shooter yelling "Free Palestine." Like, what the... what do any of these have to do with each other? So this is, I think, one of the guys that was there.
You get the sense that they knew who...
Didn't hear anything. He just came out and said...
What he said?
Yeah, what he said was the children are safe and, free Palestine.
What was that moment like when you heard the gunshots?
At first, I didn't realize it was gunshots. It sounded like balloons because, we were at a festivity thinking, maybe somebody popped a balloon. But then you look around, we didn't have balloons. And then it got serious because there was two... and then four right away. That's what I heard anyway.
Did people start running right away?
They ducked and covered and started.
I mean, that's a very normal looking guy. He obviously, what he's talking about, like, hey, I didn't really know what was happening. I thought balloons were being popped. I mean, that's normally a good sign. That's how you know you live somewhere safe. It's different if he was in, Detroit or whatever. I'm sure their first instinct would be like, oh, I'm sure balloons are popping. But no, it's a normal guy. They're at a normal event. They're at a country club. Talk about somewhere that is nice and should be safe. And that's the problem. All this crime, and I've talked about in LA, and I've literally said, you guys need to realize these Democrat policies and these people in charge, which is why I don't believe in fleeing necessarily. It tends to be a cowardly thing. I'm like, it spreads like cancer. You have to target it and kill it at the source. Wherever things are the worst, You need to fix it then and there because it spills over. It spills over into every city, every state, and the places that used to be beautiful and used to be nice. And I mean, I talk about it here in Beverly Hills. Like, thank God they have, a lot of private funding so they can have, better private police and like whatever, all these different things. But at the same time, there's still crazy robberies there. And there's crime. There's homeless. And I'm like, yeah, once it starts spilling into these nice places with normal people, that's when I'm like, you guys, this is a big deal. It's not just affecting shitty neighborhoods. It's affecting the whole country. And also, I'm like, what's the difference between walking in and shooting something and yelling Free Palestine and Allah Akbar? That's where I'm like, so are we starting to see there's like some similarities here? Because it's the same thing to me. I really, really, really don't understand the difference at this point. And also, if you're not watching Fauda on Netflix, 10 out of 10, great show. Really highly recommend. It is funny because between Fauda and then what's the other one on Amazon Prime, before they show it, they have to do like the little thing that's like, just so you know, like this isn't based off anything. And if you see anything that's a coincidence, like don't loop that. You know what they're doing in that? They're having to like defend all the shitty things the Palestinians do in the TV shows. And they're like, but this isn't a reflection of who they are. I'm like, oh no, I think it's like actually not only is it exactly who they are, it's exactly who they are historically to the point where you made a show about it. You've made multiple shows and movies about it, and it's like literally exactly who they are. But it is funny that we have to put these disclaimers on these shows to be like, oh, but like when they scream Allah Akbar and send in like the 4-year-old with the vest strapped, it's not really their beliefs. It's just for entertainment. I'm like, but I just saw that he screamed Allah Akbar and sent in the 4-year-old. That was on the news. That's not what you guys are doing? All right, all the movies we've ever came out with, they're all wrong. Interesting take on that. But what would I know? So the man who attempted to kill Justice Brett Kavanaugh, the Supreme Court guy, identifies as a transgender woman, was deeply mentally ill and suicidal, according to the documents first obtained by the Daily Wire. Is this the one where they were saying that Republicans weren't talking about it and we didn't care? I think this is the one, right? They were saying like, oh, where were you guys talking about this? Okay, well, I mean, to be fair, wasn't in the news as much. And now we know why, because anytime it's a transgender mentally ill person, and also when it says transgender woman, so it's a man. That means man. Because, it's very rare that you have women turning into men and shooting things up. But I think that's because by nature, we're not so aggressive and insane. So it makes sense that the transgender woman, aka mentally ill men, do shit like this because they're not only already a man, they're also crazy and mentally ill. So that I just think makes more sense. Yeah, I'm sure the left will say that, just like they did with Charlie Kirk's assassin, that this is clearly a right-wing psychopath, which is so, I want to like make a comment. I was listening to my friend's podcast this morning and they're all liberal cucks, but I do enjoy listening to them. And I was like, yeah, you know what? You guys are right. The kid that came from a somewhat normal family, who I believe whose dad turned him in, God bless him. The kid who is a quote unquote straight man dating a transgender guy who was recently radicalized, hated Donald Trump and the Republican Party, was probably comparing him to Hitler, was saying he's a fascist, who also in his spare time is not only on Discord, but watching furry porn. That's definitely a classic Republican. Yes. Thank you guys. Because that's the first thing I think of when I hear all those things. I go, classic Republican voter. He checks every single box. That's literally, we're all like that. We love our transgender partners and we love CNN. We hate Donald Trump. We compare him to, Hitler. And then we love watching furry porn. That's textbook, classic Republican. So thank you guys. I mean, he's not like, I don't understand when I listen to these people talk. I'm like, do you hear the shit coming out of your mouth? How genuinely insane this is. Of course, that is like, that's a textbook definition leftist at this point, because I don't even know a normal leftist. So we have a video about a Seattle man arrested for raping a child in Seattle. Days after another Seattle homeless man was arrested for raping a child in the Democrat-run tent city, the girl just 5 years old. The suspect has been allowed to walk free. What the is going on?
Days after a 46-year-old man was arrested at this tent city in South Seattle, the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office confirms prosecutors didn't meet the state's 72-hour deadline to file formal charges, and the suspect was released from jail.
This is not something that will be on the back burner for Seattle police or for prosecutors. This is a very important investigation.
Police say a resident reported seeing the man trying to lure a 5-year-old girl into his tent. The police report states the child later described being inappropriately touched on 2 separate days by a man she identified as someone living here, along with the color of his tent. But days after the judge set the suspect's bail at $750,000 at the first court appearance, the suspect walked free.
I mean, what do you even do with that information? First of all, I thought, like, when they said tent city, I thought they were talking about, like, downtown LA, the way there's, like, tents and shit. That is literally a parking lot with different colored tents. So, first of all, burn that to the ground, solve that problem within like 15 minutes. I mean, you guys had no problem burning the Palisades to the ground, and apparently none of those people's homes or lives mattered. People died in their homes and also burned to death. So like literally that place, burn that to the ground. This isn't just a tent city for homeless, violent crackheads. It's also a tent city to harbor rapists as well. That's beautiful, Seattle. What is it? Like Washington, just complete shithole, unfortunately. 5 years old. I mean, if they were 16, it'd be horrific. 5 is like, I just think we need to bring back, I think every public hangings, is that even enough? I don't really understand, like, what is enough? And then also they're like, well, they didn't really meet the, 72-hour deadline. Hold on. There's deadlines? Oh, yeah, I a 5-year-old. Yeah, but that was, 4 days ago, Josh. It's different now. Like, what do you mean there's deadlines of when? And then it happened multiple times as well, and he's allowed to walk free. Wow, why do I have this feeling like the person who's willing to inappropriately touch or a 5-year-old is going to do it again, especially when they live in a tent. So it's not like they have a lot on the line. You know, they don't have a mortgage and family to lose or a business. Why do I have this weird feeling like that's going to happen again? And we're literally how sick do we have to be as a society where it's not only do we let this happen to children, we actually purposely go out of our way from stopping it happening again. Like how insane is that? And I'm just I'm sorry, look, I don't want to live in Iran. I don't think they're doing it right. But there are certain aspects where I'm I believe if you do something to a 5-year-old, you should have the shit beat out of you. And then after that, I do think we should string you up and hang you and make an example out of you. And I do think these things would happen less often. I also think the people who let them walk free should have severe consequences as well. And you know what's so funny is they're oh, well, 72 hours, it's past our deadline of, our kid hotline. And you're okay, that's interesting. But this ugly, psycho, liberal, feminist, insane woman can say Trump inappropriately touched her 30 years ago and she can get millions of dollars for it and we believe her? I'm what? I'm so confused. The statute of limitations on that, somehow because it was Donald Trump doesn't exist, but a random 5-year-old, it's been too many days. I mean, it's so funny how they complain about whatever that retard Jimmy Kimmel is, and it's if that was the one. I don't watch any of these late night shows, but it's just so you guys are totally that wasn't the justice system being abused. This is also the justice system being abused as well. I mean, this is sick. And you know what's funny too? Democrats won't care. They won't care. They won't talk about it. No Democrats will be talking about this on the news, on a podcast, anything. This is why they're predators. We have a video of one of the dumbest black women in America, Jasmine Crockett, one of our favorites because we can use her content every week because she's always saying something stupid. And I even tweeted on X, I said, black women should stop her from speaking because it's not a good look for the community. So this is her saying that being a criminal is a mindset and that you're not a criminal if you commit a crime.
I understood what was kind of pushing them there. And so I do want people to know that just because someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal. That is completely different. Being a criminal is more so about your mindset. Committing a crime can come for a lot of different reasons.
Okay, so first of all, she's talking to just some gay guy from a Netflix show. I don't know how you put those two together. But anyways, I'm on ChatGPT. And so the legal definition, because as a woman who works in government, you could say, doesn't know this, is a person who has been convicted by a court of committing a crime. That is the legal definition. So when you commit a crime, you are, in fact, a criminal. Kind of scary. Kind of scary that this woman, like, has opinions that people care about, and she's, like, able to, like, make a salary and, like, dictate things. I mean, this is not... It's kind of when they want us to stop being racist and make fun of them, but then they say stuff like this, and it's like, I don't think you're doing too much. It's like when they propped up Kamala Harris to be the next president, and I don't even understand what she is. Was she even Black? I think she was like Indian and Canadian or something, so I don't even know what happened there. But I'm like, great. If you want, like, first of all, I want a white man to be president. I'm sorry. Historically, it worked out very well. And then Obama came, and now you have all the Somalians doing fraud. And when he wasn't, dropping carpet bombs on children, he was a really great spokesperson for America. He was so well spoken, which is all I hear. And I'm like, yeah, Barack Hussein, Muslim Obama. No, thank you. Not a fan. I think that was, the beginning of the downfall of America. I see, like, Megyn Kelly was talking about that and everyone's calling her racist. But I'm just like, I understand, like, if you want to be so stupid that you're like, you know what, I just want to see the first Black woman. It's the same. Then why do you want to see the most retarded one? So you're going to tell me, like, that's the one you're going to vote for, and then you expect racism in America to go down? You expect us to not call out the fact that, like, people who are not qualified for jobs are getting the most important jobs in America? Why not just go find a Black woman who's actually intelligent? Since it's so easy, since they're all so amazing and overqualified and better than everyone else. And then you guys hate on Candace Owens too, who I think has lost her mind, but that's a whole nother subject. At least she's smart. She's crazy, but at least she is smart.